Oh, what's poppin', Saints? Happy Sunday, everybody. I did not plan to go live, but I kind of did. I did a poll and I was like, when should I go live? And I said Tuesdays or Sundays. I went live on a Sunday before. People were saying keep it on Sunday. So here we are. I it was great weather in the city today. And so I did a little walk after church. And let me tell you, I saw something while I was walking. And that's the thing. Got like I'll just take a little walk and while I was walking, I saw there's like little stamps that'll be on the street and it said training season is over. Training season's over. Training season's over. And it really made me think about all that I'm in anticipation about. If you've been keeping up with my prayers on live, and if you haven't, they're up on my page. I don't delete them, so you can go back and take a look. But I mean, really, if you've been subscribed for a while, if you're new, hey, but I have lost my job. Was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I didn't move apartments. I didn't move with friends. I didn't move with what my focus was and what I'm doing. And I have been feeling like something's about to happen. Something good is about to happen. And in that, I'm like, okay, I need to prep. I need to plan. Am I ready? Am I this? Am I that? Let me read the word. Let me do my guided journal. Let me meditate. Let me talk to a friend. Let me get a counselor. All of these things. And I'm realizing that it's here. I'm not making it up. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to be like, I ain't gaslighting myself. It's like, no, what you feel, the words that you're reading, the things that you're getting are true. Training season is over. It's over. And after training, after practice, what's next? The game. What's next is you are standing there with your warm up suit on and you're waiting on the start. Like you're waiting on it to begin, but you're not in practice anymore. I used to run track and that's what we would do. We would stand there, we would have our warm ups on, but you're not in practice anymore. You're not at the point where you're like, wait, what do we do again? How long is this run? Am I a track person or am I going to be a painter or whatever? It's like, no, I have ran my laps in practice. Me and my team have got our handoffs together. I have my shoes done. My hair is in a ponytail. Like I am standing here in anticipation for the start, and training is over. It's over. I'm ready to begin what it is that God deposited in me to get done. I'm ready to go forward, and the endurance that I'll need, I have. I built it up. I'm ready to go forward, and the patience that I'm gonna have to exude with people, I've built up the patience in all these months that I've been through. The savvy, business savvy, people savvy, all the things that I'll need, I've built it up. And when you really look back on where you've been, on what you've done, on the things you know now that you didn't know before, you'll be able to look sometimes, not all the time, but for me right now, I'm able to look and say, training season is over. We're still here. I'm still gathering information. I was up last night researching things and looking at stuff. I got some things to do tomorrow that are based off of me still in training, right? And people, great athletes, okay, they still pull up to practice. They still are going to gain wisdom and knowledge. They're still talking to people who have done it longer than them, better than them, who've achieved high things. But training camp, we passed that. Like we're here. We are getting some games under our belt, right? We have the referee looking at what we're doing. We have fans in the seats that are engaging with how we're performing. The game is on because training season is up. And I think that when we have an understanding of that spiritually and just like what we have going on, it can really be so dope in seeing how you change your perspective with yourself, with God, with what it is that you're being tasked to do, because you start to see that you think different when you recognize I'm not in training camp. I'm not trying to get drafted. I'm on the team. I'm not trying to get signed. I'm signed. I'm not trying to get my name on the back of a jersey. My jersey's in gift shops. Like people know who I am. They know the game that I'm playing. They know the arena that I'm in. When you're there, you network different. You talk about what you're doing different. People interact with you different. You interact with them different. You use your time differently. When you see things on a walk on the street, you interact with that different, right? You're able to take in things, read scripture different. You pray different. Everything that you do from a perspective that I am on the team. I am gearing up for something to be done that hasn't been done before. I'm playing at a certain level. You know, when people are no longer training and they're going up for something, you could be, playing a regular season game if we're talking basketball, right? But then there are these extracurricular moments that happen, and great people are allowed to go to those extracurricular moments. So you have the all-star basketball games, which all NBA players don't get to go to the all-star game, right? You have the Olympic teams. Everybody can go. You can shoot down, but you're not suiting up on the Olympic team. Everybody doesn't get to go to that. And when you're playing at a certain level and you have an understanding of where you at, of what you're doing, of how the things that you do impact this thing over here, you can start to recognize just how dope the moment that you're in is. And you'll be leaving where you were required to do some things in training camp. You have your eyes set on making the Olympic team. You have your eyes set on All-Star weekend. Like you're looking at things and piecing things together differently. You're talking about your potential differently. You're talking about God's potential in your situation differently. And it really changes up how you can exist in the world. It changes the doors that will open up for you and the impact that you can have by that understanding. I was in church today, and there was a song that we did in worship, and it was just like, who am I to deny what the Lord can do? Who am I? And you have this understanding that God, nothing's impossible with him. He can do any and everything. And if God can do any and everything with me, through me, for me, by his grace, by his mercy, by his power, by his might, by his wisdom, by his knowledge, if God can do that, then I can sit here and recognize, if I have an understanding of that, you have to be a bit mature, right? Because if you're not mature, then you're like, well, God can do everything, but I can't. Well, God's powerful, but I'm limited. And that's true naturally. But if you think about how we partner with God on things, then you're like, no, if nothing's impossible for God, and I partner with the God of the universe, I serve the God of the universe, and nothing is impossible for me. And I'm telling you, today at church, I literally was like, okay, like I'm starting to get it. And when you start to get it, you start to get it. And so when I'm on the walk that I was on and I saw this sign, training season is over. It's like, yeah, you're mature. Yeah, when you're disgruntled on prayer this past Wednesday, we were talking about going to God with honesty. That people that come to God with honesty when it doesn't feel good, people that come to God with honesty when they're confused, when they're lost, when they feel like they've been done wrong by the Lord, and they're like, instead of me denouncing the faith, instead of me walking away, I'm going to come to you with it. Oh, training season's over for them. They are walking with God in such a way where they can be elevated, where they can go from regular team to All-Star weekend, where they can go from regular team to the Olympic team. Like you can go to that next level and be recognized as one of the greats because you know what's going on. And I'm starting to know what's going on. I'm like, okay, training season's over. And it doesn't mean I'm not getting wisdom and knowledge anymore. It doesn't mean that I don't recognize God as Lord. It doesn't mean that I know everything. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that all the things on my path, I have every next step that I'm going to take mapped out. What it means is I recognize that this is a little bit different. The stakes are a little bit different. How I'm showing up is different. When you're in practice, people take practice pretty seriously. When you're in practice, you have the coach engaging with you in a certain way. But when you're in a game, when you're in a game, You got people in the stands. When you have the other team actually there, it's not just you and your teammates playing against each other anymore, but there's actual opposition against you. When that clock is going down, right? You operate at a different level because you're not training anymore. This is the game. This is what you have been working towards. This is what marks the character development that you've been going through. This is the arena where you get to see how much growth has happened, all the prayers that have been going up. When training season is over, and you're standing there, that's when you're able to see, okay, me and God have been in it in this thing, and we've been working on something, and I can actually see him be the deliverer that I've been praying for him to be. I can actually see him be the one that cancels debts after I've been going to him for months about my debt that I got. I can see him be the one that restores after I've been going to him about all the things that I feel like I lost. When you recognize that training season's over, when you recognize, hey, I've been putting in the work and I'm actually ready to suit up, you have a different level of trust. You have a different level of gravity of the moment, and you're able to understand different things. You're able to engage in a different way, and you see God engage with you in a different way. When you're in practice on any sport, I don't care what it is, your coach is they're there. They're gonna talk to you in a certain way, right? But when you're in a game, there are certain times you only get the timeouts, right? For the coach to talk to you, unless when they screaming on the sideline. You only get halftime, right? There are certain parameters when things take place. But if you're still looking at your coach to engage with you like he does in practice when you're in training, but it's a game, there's a misalignment and you'll miss on some things. And you're not operating how you need to operate, and you'll be upset at the coach for him not operating in the way that you were expecting. But when you can say, okay, training season's over, so I can anticipate that God's going to do this. And so I need to do that. I think God told me this in practice. So game time, I need to do what we rehearsed, right? If I did this in my private time, I'm to take this with me when I'm elevated. You're able to take these things that God deposited into you, that you developed, that you form new habits, all those things. You're able to take those moments, and God wants to use them in the next era. And I think what happens is we can get used to the training. We can get used to the practice. We can get used to the moments when we were down. We can get used to the moments when we weren't understood by people. We can get used to the moments when we didn't know how things were going to come together. And maybe it's not going to happen for me. Maybe I heard wrong, XYZ. And I think I was starting to get there a little bit where I'm like, yeah, I'll make it one day. And it's like, it could be this week, babe. It could be this month. Like, God can come through and change everything at any time. That's what he can do. He has the ability and the power and the desire to do that for us. And when we are in awareness of that and we partner with him on it, that's when we're really able to call on him and see things get done. And it's like, okay, we're here. We're here. It's happening, right? And so I think that it's a really powerful revelation when we understand when training season is happening. So that way we train, because training season is for your good. It's to get those reps in so you get stronger, to get those reps in. So when you have to endure some stuff, you have the strength to endure. It's to get your trust in God built up. So when it seems like he's quiet, you're like, oh, but God never leaves me. He never forsakes me. He always has a plan for me. He's there for me. He has a purpose for me. He loves me beyond. There's new grace, new mercy every day. Even when I can't see it, he's doing things, right? So when you are using training for what training is for, you learn things about yourself, your circumstance, about God, and about the circumstance to come, because you're utilizing the training. You're in the gym. You're getting the reps up. But when you're now suited up for a game, when you're now moving to the next era, the next season, when things are changing and popping off for you, when people are even speaking to you about what they see, even though nothing's changed yet. And that's what's happening for me. People are like saying stuff and think about me for things and whatever. I'm thinking about myself differently. And outwardly, what I'm looking at when I wake up every morning, Everything is the same, but it's not the same. And the reason why I know it's not the same is because I know I'm not in training season anymore. Not there. Not there. Maybe this the game ain't started yet, but I'm suited up and I'm waiting on us to begin because I'm not in training no more. I'm not trying to get drafted. I'm on the team. And this is happening, and it's happening right now. And I already am promised the victory on the other side. All I have to do is play. And I play according to the strengths that I've been giving. I play according to the parameters that God has outlined, right? There are certain things that He's like, now this is how we win the game. This is how we structure how we interact with other players. This is how we are to present ourselves in this arena. And if we play our game, we'll win. If we play our game, we'll win. We can't lose. I don't care how much time goes down on that clock. I don't care how many buckets the other team gets. If we play our game, we can't lose. That's what I hear from God. And so what I want to do is have that. I want to just sit in that awareness like, okay, we're starting something, and it's not something to be missed. It's not something to think, is that true? Maybe I'm still in the training ground. Maybe I'm still practice. Like, no, you are game ready. And if you think you're not game ready, you need to think again. You are game ready. Everything that God has been preparing for you, everything that He has taken you through, it says He uses all things together for our good. And He takes the foolish things and He'll use it. He'll take people that can't speak and be like, you're a speaker. He'll take folks that have no design experience, you're a designer. He'll take people that have never left their hometown and you're a world traveler, their hometown. You're a world traveler. Like He will do that because He's God and He can. And when you have the awareness, like, okay, He's given me some things, some words, some people, some places, some connects, some this, some that, some ideas. And there were some points when I was supposed to map out the ideas. There were some points when I was supposed to just think about how I would get it done. But now I'm at the point where we're executing, we're doing it, we're walking it out. When you get there, friend, you walk differently. And when you walk different in that place, God can walk different. When you walk different, you're able to unlock so many things, and then you'll see even more of His glory than what you thought was possible because you was thinking in the training mindset and what you saw God do in the training. But when you move to game time, we're on a totally different agenda and things play out completely different. And what's at stake is a prize. When you show up to practice, the prize is you practiced. But when you're at the game, when training season is over, the prize is the actual prize. There is something on the line at the end of this thing, and you're guaranteed to get it. The ring goes on your finger. You get the trophy. You get the medal. People are screaming your name. Like that happens for you because you went through the training. That is what the training is for. It was always to gear you up to this moment. And so I just want to come on and share that. I've been leading and kind of sharing, like, I'm excited. I don't know fully how God gonna show up, what He's doing for me. For real, I can't speak to what He's doing for you all the way, but I believe that for those of us the training season is over for, it's over. And I think we just have to own it. Like, training season's over. I'm supposed to stand in this era fully in anticipation that God is going to do something that will blow my mind. And not only is God just operating and doing His own thing going to blow my mind, I'm ready for it. I was purposed for it. I've been prepped for it. And that God has placed me here for a reason. Like, I ain't out just willy-nilly doing things on my own. Me and God have been working together this whole time to get me to this moment. Training season is over. You got the idea. Go. You got the people. You're connected to them for a reason. Go. You have the resources and the tools. What resources and tools that you have are what you're supposed to have. Go. Training season is over. You watched the YouTube videos. You done bought the book and read the book. You done took the notes on the thing. You looked up the other people and how they did it. You're standing where you're standing right now because training season is over, and it's time for you to go. And you're not going with a lack of wisdom. You're not going with just like, I'm going to feel my way around. You might not have everything mapped out, but you're going with knowledge and the backing from the kingdom. You're going with the backing from heaven and with the assurity in your faith that it's going to work out for your good and better than you could expect, and that it will have a long-term impact and effect on your life and the life of the people around you. So, hope this was helpful with just a little something. Again, I wasn't planning to go live, but I think Sundays are gonna be our day. I'm really feeling Sundays for us. So I'll try to make it a time so that we can plan when we're gonna have our little Sunday chats. But yeah, I think that these will be really good for us to just do little check-ins outside of like playing content and for us to chat. I think that I want to have moments where I can kind of hear what's going on with y'all and y'all's lives, and outside of just me sharing apartment updates and just little things, especially since I'm on hiatus from the podcast right now. I want to be able to kind of share things. Maybe it's not as like, planned or whatever, but it also gives a chance for us to just be community, like, have conversations, cool kid to cool kid, and to connect on how God is moving in our lives. And I think that that will help us to maintain hope and keep going. Because when I hear how God's moving for you, you hear how he's moving for me, then you get a reminder that God moves, period, that he moves in 2024, that he moves in this era, and that he is delighted to do so for those who delight in him. And that alone could get us going to take the next step that we need to get the next piece of our inheritance that we're supposed to get. So yeah, I think that these little chats will be helpful. And then it's different from prayer too, right? And so prayer will still happen every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time. But then we'll also have these Sunday Cool Kid chats to just engage with each other. Y'all let me know what's going on in y'all life, what God's doing for y'all. I'll let you know what he's doing for me. And yeah, church really be, getting me in the spirit. So when I have something I love to share and my little walks that I take or whatnot. So hope this was helpful. We are on our way to something. Spring is springing, okay? And I think that outside of just naturally spring doing this thing, God is doing something in our lives. Like something is springing up for us, and some stuff is new, some stuff we've been working on, been praying about, been having people sending the gap for us about. I done been made videos about, we done been journaled about, you know what I mean? And it's our time. Like it's happening for us, and it's not for later, it's for now. And the last thing I'll say is like there have been moments in my faith journey where that suddenly, and then God did the next day, whatever. Sometimes it'd be hard for me to think that God does that for me or that I'm going to see that. I think he has the ability, but my faith sometimes just isn't there. They're like, yeah, I could pray something and then it happens that night, or it happens the next day. It happens that week, that month. And that is changing. I'm thinking in this season, like some stuff that's coming to my brain, my mind, ideas that I'm getting, people I'm connected with, convos I'm having. It's not for months from now, years from now. It's like, I'm telling you for a reason. I'm God. I could tell you 5 years from now. If it's for 5 years from now, I'm telling you now because I'm doing something. I'm preparing you for something because I'm moving actively right now. And so as I'm exercising that belief, I think that spring happening, when I'm thinking that, it's like, yeah, I'm springing up something for you, Destiny. I'm springing up something for you. I want to do something in your life, and I want you to hear me and then watch me work. I want you to hear me and then you work and then you watch me deliver. Like it's a quick fastness that I operate with. It's not always, you know what I'm saying, the Israelites 40 days, 40 years. Yeah, I'll do that too. But there are moments when I told my prophet something and then immediately it happened. I said, woman with the jar of oil, go out and ask your neighbors for jars and then sell the jars, and your debts are canceled. Like it happens when I tell you, right? And so I think that that's just something that I'm really trying to lean more into in this time of my life of like, okay, I heard something. God, I believe that that was a word for now. That was a word I'm going to see you activate on and move on right now. I'm going to have a story for that now. I'm going to have a video about that now. I'm going to be able to inspire somebody with that now. And so if there's something on your heart, your family, whatever, and you're like, okay, God, I think you gave me something, but confirm again, or let me hold on to that for whenever you finally do it. It's like, no, activate your faith that God is trying to do that right now. You heard it now because he's trying to do something right now. And if training season is over and the game is right now and God gave you a word right now, when coach is talking during the game, that's not a play for us to do later. That's a play that when that timeout's over, I want you to do that now, right? When we get 30 seconds left on the clock and it's tied, I need y'all to be throwing them shots up now. That's not for later, right? And so if training season is up and God is speaking to us as our coach, as our guide, as our counselor, now it's not for you to put up shots later. It's for you to take the shot now. If you want the victory, if you want the breakthrough, I need you to run that play now, to use that scripture and activate it in your life right now. And believe and trust and put your full weight in the fact that I'm God enough that if I give you something and you're believing in me, that I'm going to come through for you. That's what I do. And I delight to do it. So I love y'all. I hope that this was helpful. Thanks for kicking it with the kid. And I can't wait for next Sunday when we do this again. I really think that this is going to be our little time to shine. So if you watch, let me know what time y'all are thinking, because I don't know what time people be like free. But maybe 6, 5. I don't know what y'all thinking before dinner time for sure. So let me know. But every Sunday, I think we'll be here, or maybe every other Sunday. We'll tap in, we'll fill it out and see how we feel. But cool kid's a cool kid. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a great week. I can't wait to kick it with y'all on Wednesday morning. First prayer at 7 a.m. Eastern. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye.